why don't people eat the skin of mangoes? I get it. It's not for everybody. Texture, maybe the taste, maybe you're not so sure if it's clean. But as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing wrong with it. Some of you don't need fibre anyway, let's be real. Some of you are not getting enough dietary fibre and this could massively help. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But if you're not somebody who eats the skin of a mango, I don't judge you. So why do you judge me when I do? Why do you judge me when I bite into it just like that? And I enjoy my mango. And I'm regular, if you know what I mean. Do you get what I'm saying? Ria's falling down off camera because she don't realise she knows what I'm talking about and it's funny. But the point is, don't judge me for eating the skin. I've heard actually, in some cases, if your mango is fresh and in good soil and good environment, whatever, there could actually be some of the nutrients that we need on the outer skin of the mango. But we're removing it and not eating it, and we might be missing out on that. But I'm just saying, if you see me eating the skin of my mango, leave me be. I don't need your comments. I'm enjoying it. Mangoes to the win. To the water, fam. Welcome.
Welcome, guys.
To another episode of Daily Decisions. Ria's boxing a passion fruit.
Yep.
I don't know if it's good though. She said it's not even that ton up.
Do you know what it is? I don't really like passion fruit as a fruit, like just the flavour of passion fruit.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know
I like
what
the
it
juice.
is.
I like when
yeah,
they make juice, but that's probably the juice.
I think it's me with pomegranate as well. Like anything that has too many seeds, it's just like it's too crunchy for me.
Yeah, I don't like the texture.
I'm eating it because I feel like being exotic today.
And also, passion fruit is just very like sharp taste.
Yeah,
It's not really for me still.
Even in cocktails, I don't like passion fruit flavoured things. Okay. I don't even like watermelon juice is a different one because watermelon juice is nice, but watermelon flavoured things.
Yeah, I'm not here for that. And I'm a man that loves fruit. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, I do, because you know what it is. When I was going through my phase of trying to try like loads of different tropical fruits. There's one that's like that. What's it called? Mandela? I don't know. It's got like a one of those names that has like 2 L's and an A, something like that. But yeah, either way, passion fruit's not really my thing still. So anyway, welcome back to another episode of Daily Decisions. This is us being super consistent, recording, taking it seriously, all of that. What do we want to say, man?
You sound like you're getting a cold.
No,
that's unheard of for Lewis, you know. I
don't get sick though, so I definitely have sniffles though.
Yeah.
But I'm also putting it down. Do you know what it is? Acacia had a runny nose this week.
So.
And I think she's passed it on.
Your immune system was like.
Yeah, that's something new. It's like that one day is new. So my immune system's like we're dealing with that now.
We need to deal with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So by tomorrow I'll be alright.
By tomorrow.
Nah, fam, man's bionic, fam. What? You think I'm messing around, bruv? I need to get rid of all illness immediately. Like, do you get what I'm saying? We don't accept being sick. So yeah, so we just drink water, drink fruits, and get on with it. You get me?
Drink fruits, yeah? Okay.
I said drink water and eat fruits. Did I say drink fruits?
Yeah, you said drink fruits.
But you can drink fruits though.
You can drink
You have to juice them.
You have to drink
if I blend them and juice them, but you know what I mean? We're there anyway.
But yes, guys, let's swiftly move into our first segment. Guess who?
So, this person spent cumulatively 10 years in prison.
Ginger J.
But I see where you're going. I had a feeling you were going to say that, but it's not Ginger J.
10 years in prison? Alright, go on.
This person...
But this is the thing, they didn't decide to spend 10 years in jail.
True, it's a fact in it instead of a decision. Okay, this person made a decision that led to them spending 10 years in prison.
Okay, cool.
Do you get what I'm saying? Okay, this person, upon leaving prison, during their time in prison, and upon leaving prison, was running parties on behalf of 2 very well-known UK artists.
Bouncer.
Well done. I didn't know you knew that about Bouncer still. You know that part about Bouncer.
The only reason I know of Bouncer is because the name is Bouncer Play Dirty.
Yeah.
And then you just put the dots together. So before I even knew who Bouncer was, I only knew of him through Krypton Conan. Do you know what I mean? So it's like no shade to Bouncer, but
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
no, so
it's like-
so yeah, when Bouncer was in jail and they were doing Play Dirty parties, it got to a point where obviously Play Dirty parties were doing well, but then Bouncer started managing those parties even from jail. Like he started connecting the dots
swear down.
in terms of like venues, artists,
But
this, that, and the other.
how are you doing that from jail though?
Especially when he was on Cat D, innit? Because when he's on Cat D and he can go out for
Yeah.
the day and then have to be back, he could definitely do it.
Plug and play.
Yeah, do you get what I'm trying to say? You just got to make it work. Obviously, who knows? Before he was on Cat D, you might have just been doing it on a little phone he had in his cell or something. Who knows, bro? But definitely on Cat D, you can just make it work, in it. So.
Do you know what it is? I rate that because, first of all, certain people are in prison and not thinking about how they can set themselves up for the play when they come out of jail. Do you know what I mean? It's just like you're thinking, I'm in jail, so I'm limited as to what I can do. And then when you come out, it's like you haven't even built up any momentum from when you was inside. Do you know what I mean? So like, there's certain people, I know rappers and artists that have been in jail, and it's like throughout their whole stretch they were just writing, they were just stacking things up, and then when they come out, you're just ready to
hit the roads.
do you know what I mean?
If you look at Pot of Paper, do you get what I'm saying? Pot of Paper, which was what, probably his third, fourth, maybe even fifth stint in prison, comes out 2020 within what I think something like 3 days. Man's dropped already. He dropped an EP. Do you get what I'm saying? 2020 Vision. Boom. That would have charted, but because it was only I think 3 or 4 tracks, it can't chart because it's not seen as long enough to chart. But drops that. But then also all the writing that he was doing in prison is how you get Training Day free.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want to hear it from no one. Training Day 3 is the hardest mixtape in that trilogy.
No, I can't
Don't
lie.
tell me TD1 or TD2 is as hard as TD3. I don't want to hear it.
But I just think Pot of Paper as a whole is so real and raw, and his music, I just connect with a lot of it. But this is what I'm saying, like, when you're writing about real and raw stuff, especially from being in jail, that's when, not to say that's when you get the best stuff, but that's like, for certain people, that's when you're grinded down to the core of who you are. Like, it's just you and your talent in here. Like, there's no Canada Goose that you can go outside and make anyone think that you're a certain type of persona. You're not driving a Benz, you know what I mean? It's literally just you, your personality and your talent whilst you're behind those walls. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if you can really grasp and take a hone on like the skill that you want to master whilst you're in there, when you come out, not to say it's going to be 10 times easier, because I understand people in prison, it's like it's hard to just navigate, but if you can do that from whilst you're still inside the wall, there's no limit to what you can do when you're outside. Do you know what I mean?
Even if you weren't physically imprisoned because a judge gave you a sentence, you can treat any period of your life like that.
Yeah.
So you might be in a situation where you feel like, in fact, let's get super real with it. Our highest paying client that we had a 7PK, which paid us over 6 figures in the last 2 years, that contract ended at the end of June. We had a couple of other pieces of work that we were doing with other clients that were fairly good revenue. All of them have all kind of come to a close at a similar time. Now, in a situation like this, you could panic and be like, oh, what are we going to do? Now, fortunately, because I'm quite financially responsible, I know we're good for a few months, innit? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Maybe even longer than that, to be fair. But the point is, it's times like this when you go, where do I need to draw innovation from? How do I put different plays together?
Yeah.
How do I identify opportunity in a different way? How do I create opportunity in a different way? How do I relationship build in a different way? How do I invest the resources we've got in a way that I think can produce return? But you would only really do that when you feel like you're forced into a situation where you have to do that. So this comes down to your mindset, because some people, when they're put in a situation where they're facing potential adversity, potential setback, they might feel like they're unsure as to whether there is clarity about how they're going to progress through a situation. They might panic. They might think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? They might start to lose clarity. But the real people who level up in life are the ones who gain more clarity in those moments. They're the ones who say, hold on a second, let me analyze this situation. What skills do me and my team have? What experiences do me and my team have? Who are the people that we're connected to? Who are the communities that what are the communities that we're a part of? What resources are available to us, whether it be immediately or if we were to make the right calls and right plays, we can get access to those resources. And how does that allow us to develop new opportunities for ourselves? But the key thing, in our case specifically, and I would argue it's true across the board, is you can only really go about being able to grow through situations like this when you don't focus on yourself.
Yeah.
When you focus on who can I help. And it's when you focus on the who can I help, who can I serve, who needs what I can offer, and how do I make sure that I can bring them that value, bring them those offerings. That's when you start to realize, oh, I can open doors for myself. Oh, I can generate opportunities for myself. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, jail is a way to do that.
I said jail is a way to do that, but it's just the way that he's in it.
Yeah,
but before we move on to our next segment, just touching on what you said, like I spoke to you about it kind of briefly yesterday in our meeting in terms of like Nipsey Hussle and Apple mirror the same business model about being vertically integrated, and that means just you being a part of every single part of the business, not relying on the middleman for certain things. But I think 7PK as an organisation is in a position where there's very little that relies on external people. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like, you do the work yourself, all of the processes are managed yourself, you do the outreach and stuff like that yourself, you fill the work yourself. And I think that's very valuable in terms of like, you've already built up the skill set, the mindset in your mind is like, there's nothing I can't do. Do you know what I mean? And even like from being someone that grew up and was born and bred in Lewisham, born and bred in Mozart, like there's certain ways of thinking that you're accustomed to when you're around a certain set of people. Do you know what I mean? I was actually reading something on the way here which said like, your mind is a garden, and it's like there might be other people around you telling you, oh, that's not realistic in a short frame of time. There's been hella times that people have said to me, and probably to you, like, that's not realistic in the time frame you're thinking of, bro. You keep that energy over there, innit? Me, I know for me and my mind and my garden, you're responsible for what goes in the gates of your garden. So if there's a weed in there, you gotta sow that shit, like
100%.
fast. And if you've let someone else in your garden and let them sow a seed, you then can't blame them for what's grown. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, regardless of if there are certain things that are backing you into a corner, backing you into a wall, it's like, cool, I have a certain set of seeds, what am I going to choose to sow? Regardless of whether it takes a long time to grow, you know that you've sown that seed. Do you know what I mean?
Word, 100%. And as you said, it's like, you guard the garden. I think it's helped by the fact that I'm looking at that sheet over there. So just, it says guard cells, can you see at the bottom? But it's literally like, we talked about jail, that's the cells, and then we got the guard in the garden, that's deep. Do you get what I'm saying? The synchronicities are mad, fam. Look how that all just came together, and we didn't plan that. And by the way, just so you know, we're in a different setting, because one of the programs that we run is called the Hope Initiative, in partnership with the Stephen Lawrence Day Foundation and Great Ormond Street Hospital. Hope standing for healthcare opportunities, healthcare opening pathways to equity, that's it. Healthcare opening pathways to equity. And effectively we're working with like young people who are underrepresented within the medical fields to kind of give them an insight into what it takes to be able to get into the medical field over a 4-year mentoring program. So it's massively privileged, the fact that we get to work with the same group over 4 years with colleagues who actually work for Great Ormond Street Hospital as doctors, consultants, surgeons, mentoring them, which is sick. But I say that to say, we just did a session where we were talking about topics in science and guard cells came up, and now we're talking about gardens and gel cells, so who knows?
Listen. My word of the week is patience. Now, the reason I say patience is because I feel like I'm at a stage in my life where I'm starting to realise, like, even what I was just saying before about being realistic, I'm going to counter that and say, like, certain times things don't go as your mind forecasted it to go. Do you know what I mean? And so you have to be patient in knowing that sometimes things don't pan out because your vision wasn't what God wanted for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, certain times people have a vision thinking this is what you want, this is how you want a certain period of your life to go, and then God takes that vision back and then he goes, listen, I'm going to put everything in disarray, but at the end I'm going to give you something much greater. But you have to be patient. And like kind of that thing that you were saying, that there's a lot of people who might be discouraged by when things are in disarray, when things aren't going how they planned. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, in those moments you have to find inner peace to be like, cool, even though there's a storm going on around me right now, I'm very patient in the fact that I know things are going to work out. Even if they're not working out right now, you have to move like they're going to work out, because they are. But it's like, how do you keep that attitude before the things have actually materialized and manifested in the way that you want them to. Do you know what I mean? And I think patience as well is like, a lot of people think to be in a better position in life, they need to do more things. I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to add this, I need to add that. But I personally think it's like, what can you take away that will allow things to start moving a bit more efficiently? Like, I'm just going to use trading as an example here. Certain people might not be able to relate because trading is a very niche and specific skill, but I think the rule applies is like, for those 2 hours, for your session, you just need to sit, like 90% of trading is not doing anything. You just need to sit on your hands and wait for something to happen. And it's like the psychologicals of you having fear, you having greed, you having over-risking, over-leveraging, that stuff makes you realise how that's mapping into other areas of your life and seeping out. So it's like you being patient enough to wait for the right time to eat your meal. You being patient for the right time to go to the gym. You being patient for the right time for a certain business opportunity to happen and you not hounding after it. Even though, yes, like I said, I'm countering because we want you to go after things, but be patient in knowing that you don't need to chase and hunt everything down, because that means you're running after something. It's running away from you. Be in alignment with the thing and be patient that at the right time it's going to come to you. Do you know what I mean?
The going after it is actually probably more the working on yourself to become the person worthy of it.
Yeah.
That's what going after it sometimes look like.
That's like, guys, guard your garden, yeah, but you have to make your garden attractive to the butterflies that want to come.
Jeez, there you go. So you're guarding your garden from the people who could potentially trample your plants, trample your produce, trample your harvest, but you're also making your garden attractive to the butterflies who will pollinate, the bees who will pollinate that particular garden.
No, that's mad, but wait, let me land, yeah. Imagine you have a garden, you're trying to be a strawberry farm. You're sowing your seeds, you're waiting for your strawberries to grow. You don't let anyone into your garden, but then what do you start doing? You start taking the fruits and you put it on a stool outside and you be like, here, listen, £2 a box. But it's like, you're now attractive to people that just pass you, just want some fresh strawberries, because you've grown your garden so well to the point, like, the fruits are clear. Like, the value is clear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you have to be patient for the crops to grow.
You have to be patient for the crops to grow, and as you said, you want to attract the right support systems, in this case the butterfly and the bees, in order to help to nurture those plants that require nurturing, and then make sure that they can be grown and harvested and all of that. But the point I was going to say is, just to circle back to what I was saying before, going for it is the working on yourself part sometimes. So not the, like, okay, people like me who have come up through environments that are sales related or maybe even had sales jobs, when you start to view things through a sales pipeline, you think that going for it is, how many people did I get in contact with? How many did I talk to this week? How many meetings did I book in? How many pitches did I make? And you're creating a funnel based on all those numbers to be like, I reached out to 100, I booked meetings with 50, I pitched 25, I got a follow-up with 15, and I closed the deal with 5. So you now have a funnel that says, I went from 100 down to 5. So if you apply that mindset to everything, you think going for it is, I just need to be doing more than 100 every week if I want to increase it beyond the 5. But that's not the only way of selling. So sometimes we're taught about that style of sales, and we therefore apply that to all parts of our lives and think that is the only way to quote unquote go for it.
Yeah.
Going for it is also, how do I become the kind of salesperson that is the most attractive to any person that interacts with me?
Yeah.
So that actually I speak to 5 people and I close 5 deals.
Yeah, 100%.
You know why? Because I don't go for them, they come to me.
That's a good point.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Funny thing
Shifted
is,
the whole mentality right
you shifted the whole mentality. Why? Because maybe you build relationships differently. Maybe the way you present yourself is different. Maybe the way you develop authority within your particular industry or sector is different. Maybe the way you develop thought leadership and share that is different. You develop influence as a result of being someone who adds value.
Yeah.
Maybe because, right, let me go to the point that I wanted to make next, which is, I forget the guy's name, so apologies, but I heard that there is a guy who is a top car salesman in the US for a number of years, and they asked him, what makes you so successful as a salesperson? He says, because I'm not trying to sell them a car today, I'm trying to sell them their next car. They said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, when I meet someone for the first time, I don't try and sell them a car, I try and sell them the next car. He said, I don't understand that. He said, the person who's trying to sell you the car today, you don't trust them.
Yeah.
Because you think most cars, like, you already have this stigma that most car salespeople are a bit shifty and not. He said, but if I just show you that I'm not trying to sell you today, I'm just trying to help you to make a better decision about what you want to sell today and say, well, come back and see me next time because we might have something that's good for you. Now, their trust in me is different. Yeah. They see me as an authority as it relates to information, guidance, all of that.
They know you have their best interests at heart.
Right, so next time they come, it's not a question of who they want to buy from. But that's the thing, you're rushing it. Yeah. You're trying to make the sale today.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about a year from now when you need to also make a sale.
It's true.
He's like, I'm playing the long game.
It's true.
I'm trying to sell them their next car.
It's true.
And guess what? If I sell them the car number 2, they're going to buy car number 3 years later. And then they're going to buy car number 4. So actually now I am selling them every year or every couple of years. But it's just that you're rushing to do it right now.
No, it's true. And I think that's a lack of patience, but also what you were saying about how you need to help other people. Do you know what I mean? In order to be in that position of authority, people need to know that you actually care about the result they're getting. So when people are trying to sell you on certain things, it's like, you know, they're only trying to sell you to make some money right now. Do you know what I mean? For their benefit. It's like, you feel more, and then you get buyer's regret if they feel like they've bought something that has no benefit to them. Do you know what I mean? So when you shift it and it's like, alright, cool, I actually don't, not say I don't care about making a sale today, but my main focus is making sure this person is well informed, is actually going to get something that's going to benefit their life in some way. So one, I feel like a good human being now because I've actually sold them something of benefit. But 2, I have a happy customer. That influences word of mouth, then influences trust, satisfaction. Do you know what I mean? Like, that karma just spins right around and it keeps spinning right around.
100%.
But yeah, what's your word of the week?
Open, and I want to say open-minded. So I might hyphenate it. Open-minded, and the reason I say open-minded is because when I think about the meetings I've had this week specifically, in a number of them, I've had to display and commit to being open-minded to new ways of approaching things or understanding the challenges and barriers being faced by members of my team in ways that I probably didn't anticipate. So when these team members were coming on board, when these team members were working together, when these team members were developing their work plans, all those kinds of things, we couldn't anticipate that we'd be in a situation where we're having to navigate some of the challenges and obstacles that are being navigated now, or that we'd be maybe slowed down in the way that we've been slowed down. And so I've had to be open-minded to, like, whilst I think I have solutions, I think I can help them based on the situation that I understand at this point. I've had to go into these spaces open-minded to, like, maybe I don't understand fully though. Maybe I need to understand their perspective more. Maybe I need to just listen. Maybe I need to give them a space to vent, all of that. And so it is in being open-minded for the first 4 days of this week that I was able to get to a point where yesterday I had a specific meeting with a team member who, within the space of about 2.5 hours, we were managing to make progress on things that they said they've been struggling with for the past 2 months. But it was, if I didn't take the time to listen and understand, especially this week, but arguably even in weeks prior, we wouldn't have got to the point where we could be so solution focused yesterday. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that for me was a reminder that, like, sometimes you have conversations and you think, this is non-progressive. We didn't have clear outcomes. We didn't have clear actions. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen next. But that meeting was necessary just to understand.
Yeah.
Just to give people space to share. Just to provide clarity. Just to ask the right questions. So that when you then get to a point of saying, now what do we want to do with what's been discussed, we can do so more effectively. So yeah, definitely open-minded. And I think it's a reminder of, like, that saying, which I'm probably sure I've said on the podcast many times, but I'll say it again now, which is like, and I don't know if this is actually a quote from Albert Einstein, but I feel like I've heard it attributed to him, but if you had an hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem, 55 minutes asking the right questions, 55 minutes just considering what's going on here.
Yeah.
Because then I only need 5 minutes to be like, this is the answer.
Yeah, 100%.
But some people are trying to jump to the answer before they've understood the thing.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you get what I'm saying?
It's true, and
I'm
that's
mature in that. And I won't say the second word, but yeah, carry on.
I think that's it's kind of like what we done today in the session that we ran today. We gave some young people an escape room that they had to get out of, and it's like they had 30 minutes on the board, but only within the last 2 minutes did they manage, well, I say 2 minutes, like 10 minutes did they start actually opening the boxes to get the next clues. Do you know what I mean? So I think the first 15 to 20 minutes was just spent on them navigating, getting their head around things. Do you know what I mean? And I think people underestimate the fact that your brain is going to carry you to the solution. Like I said before, doing certain things can only take you so far. If you don't know what to do, you're going to spend hella time doing the wrong thing. And now you either have to undo certain things or you have to redo certain things, and that's just, it's long. So even the fact that you champion that thinking time around being able to maneuver those obstacles, but also getting people to trust in your leadership. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, how can you trust a leader when they don't even know what your problems are? Do you know what I mean? How can I expect you to come to a solution when it's just like you don't even know the essence of what's happening here?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So solutions are all good and well, but it's like if you haven't thought the solution through thoroughly, like you're saying, then you can only get so far.
And you know what's so interesting about that as well? I was having this conversation with Licia yesterday, you know. Maybe it's because I know I do a lot of things, but personally, not to say I'm not open to the idea of implement a solution, see how it goes, iterates. I'm very open to that approach. But I also think the analogy I often use, inspired by Eric Thomas and them, man, I'm trying to be a sniper. I'm not trying to be like, I don't know what the word is, but like the person who runs in the house and you just let off bare rounds. You leave and there's hella shells. Everybody died, but not everybody was supposed to die.
Yeah.
But you just let off rounds.
Yeah.
Whereas the sniper sits 5 miles away on their own.
Watching.
For hours, sometimes days. It says when they leave the house, we'll take the shot.
Yeah. And they've got laser focus as well. On that
Laser
one thing.
focus.
On that one thing.
They mark the spot. Okay. And they go home.
Do you know what? That's
what I'm trying to do with my solutions, Ria.
That's a crazy analogy.
I'm trying to take my time to understand it.
Yeah.
So it's, what way is the wind blowing? Okay, cool, we're at this distance. Okay, so if I shoot from here, the bullet's going to travel at this speed, so it's going to take approximately 7 seconds to get there in order to... Do you get what I'm saying? Obviously, I know it's not a great analogy to use because it's a bit like warfare related and stuff like that. But that's what I'm trying to do with my solutions. I don't personally have the time to go, oh wow, this is the wrong house. So let me go to the next house, oh wow, this is the wrong house.
And then you run out of bullets.
You run out of bullets, everybody's
Energy.
dead.
You've run out of
now
energy.
you've just bought yourself more enemies.
Yeah.
You've got to do a bigger cleanup job.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
think
I don't have the time or the resource to do that. So I'm trying to be in a situation where when I put in place a solution, not only is it effective, but it's sustainable. That's the big thing for me. Once I put in place a solution, it could be sustained for a particular period of time.
that's a deep one, and I think it's one of them ones where you're kind of, not to say you're doing something abnormally different than what anyone else in the room is doing, because everybody's trying to look for solutions, but certain people look for solutions in a more strategic and effective fashion than other people. Like, similar to what you said about being a sniper, there's this quote my dad used to say to me, like, because my dad's part of the army, which kind of stuck, which was about like how you think versus how the 1% thinks, and these are like the leaders. Like, whilst everyone's in a room, looking at, like, let's say you're on a battlefield, and whilst everyone's looking around for people that are hidden in bushes, people are hidden here, someone that could be in a bush down there, you just need to look up. I'm looking for the snipers in the corner that are on the top of a building, like 5 minutes away, like with a telescope. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of strategic thinking you want to have when you're trying to look for solutions. Like, not to say you need to do something dramatically different, but change the way that you think or the way that you approach a problem by just looking in other directions. Do you know what I mean?
That's so deep. Just looking up is just one thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally just a movement of the neck.
Literally.
That you've been blessed to be able to do by the Creator. Like,
Literally.
you've already been given the ability to just go, and that could save your life.
And have a spine.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, imagine that. That's crazy. The scenario is as follows. You and your friend both work in the same industry or sector, yeah? Let's just say, for argument's sake, finance. You both work in the finance industry. Your friend has been booked to be on the panel and industry event taking place this Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
You said, friend, that's dope. I'm gonna roll with you for support. You attend the event. Nice little hors d'oeuvres and canapes and all them things there's running, drinks is flowing, you're enjoying yourself. 5 minutes before the panel is going to start, your friend comes running over and introduces you to the organizer of the event. You're thinking, why are they doing that? Someone just dropped out of the panel and the organizer didn't know what to do, so your friend recommended putting you on the panel.
Oh wow. So they just dropped me in it, like, and said I now need to be on this panel. Is that where you're going?
Would you be willing to be on the panel? But you don't know the topic, you ain't done no prior research, you haven't thought about the points that you want to deliver on this panel. Would you do it?
That's a bit of a techie one, because you see me, I'm not personally one for unplanned things, especially like having that. If you're going to go up in front of an audience and be talking about something, the least you could do is know what you're talking about. Do you know what I mean? But considering we both work in finance, we might have a similar subject knowledge, so I'm taking that into account. One, I'm also going off the premise that I'm more of a person that likes to put myself in uncomfortable situations anyway for the purpose of growth. So it's like, if I have an opportunity here to better my public speaking or to make a new connection with someone that now sees me on this panel, I'm happy to do that. But I think I'd be very, very anxious in the terms of like, I might not be mentally prepared to take on this challenge. I might not feel like I have the subject knowledge on what the panel is discussing. So I feel like it depends on what was being discussed on the panel. But I feel like if worst came to worst, I would just have to say, listen, it's a bit too last minute. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit too last minute. But I think if I did have the knowledge, I would be of the opinion like, all right, I'll do it, but you owe me type shit. Like, you owe me. You definitely owe me.
Who owes you though? Your friend or the organizer?
Both of them.
Why?
Because the organizer needed someone, I was the lifeline, and my friend dropped me in it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So you lot both owe me a dinner or something.
Yeah. I've done you a favour, I hear it.
No.
If you feel like you know something about the topic, you say yes.
Yeah.
If you're not so confident on the topic, it's up in the air.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, and I can only speak for myself because I know there's a lot of people that I know personally, if they saw a challenge like that, they're like, forget it, I'm not doing it, like, at all. But I think for me, if you get up in front of a panel, like, you just have to say some motivational things in any setting. Do you know what I mean? Like, in any setting, I'm telling you, you could be at a business conference.
Get a couple quotables and that.
Yeah, you could be at a medical seminar, something to do with finance. If you just appeal to health, wealth, happiness, bruv, and you say it in a compelling way.
And maybe you play a little background music for yourself and that.
Background music, like anyone in this audience can do it. Finance, anything, rates. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're just saying.
She just said rates. You know what's funny? You put it at the screen. Imagine it was a panel where there's no screen. You look at the rates. And there's a black screen behind them, you know. Look at the rates. They're going up and down. She's suggesting that there's something on the screen. That is funny.
No, but I'm just saying, I have the ability not to waffle well, but to waffle and make it sound like I'm saying something.
It's not what
meaningful.
finance can do for you.
It's about what
it's what you can do for your finance.
It's about how you're showing up every day.
For the finance.
For the finance. What's the corporates and the economics saying?
Yeah.
How does that relate to you? And look them deep in the eye. Do you know what I mean? That
you gotta draw a tenuous link sometimes. Like, they're asking you about flipping, I don't know, like lending. So when you think about quantitative easing, what you have to understand is like, what?
Quantitative easing, bro.
You gotta make a tenuous link. I think one of the things we're really overlooking. You know, that's one of the things I've noticed people do on a panel, yeah? When they want to sound deep, they'll say, you know, one of the things I think we're really overlooking, and they bring in something random, and it's like, but no one was overlooking that. Like, nobody was overlooking that.
Literally.
We've all considered that. That was actually the next question.
One thing we're really overlooking is the fact that the economic market could be crashing in the next 5 years, and no one's even doing anything about it. What could we all be doing?
These times, every single news outlet is talking about it. Do you
We
get what I'm
need
saying?
to be riding bikes to work.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you know what I mean?
Like, go in there, talk one load of waffle, bro.
Yeah, literally. But not to say I would waffle, but I'm just saying that I have the ability to think quickly on my feet, and not everybody has that. And I think that's something that has been developed over time. It's not something that I was just born with. Like, I used to find it very hard to conversate. But I think now that I'm a bit more comfortable with just saying what's on my mind, like just answering a question directly without thinking that there's a right or wrong answer, because there really isn't. There's people who are the top dogs in the industry or sector, and they just because you're the top dog doesn't mean that you know what you're talking about. Do you know what I mean? In everything, so to speak. But yeah,
I would say to this year, and I know it feels a bit like I'm dismissing the nuance of the scenario to just go straight into a lesson. But as far as I'm concerned, stranger things have happened, innit? So stay ready.
yeah,
The issue is that most people don't stay ready. What does stay ready look like? Be clued up on what's going on in your industry and sector. Like, be doing the CPD necessary. Be reading the articles, watching the videos, trying to sharpen your tools as it relates to your industry and sector through continuously looking for new knowledge, new skills, all of that. So that if you are thrown in a situation like this, you're ready to move.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Simple.
Literally.
But like, what does that look like? That means understand the macroeconomic situation, the political context, all of those things as best you can, alongside doing the work, and treat that like the work.
Yeah.
If you're not getting the opportunity to do that within your quote unquote working hours, if you're someone that's employed, sorry, but you are probably going to have to find some time in your personal time then to do that.
Yeah.
But if you can be bold enough with the people you work with and for to say, I need that time within my working hours to stay on top of what's going on in the industry or sector, then make sure that time is allocated for you, because without it, you're then in situations where you can get thrown off like this.
Literally.
So you got to stay ready. I remember when I went on the Phenomenal Life cruise, which obviously we've been to Phenomenal Life conference, and the Phenomenal Life cruise was the first of that conference series. At the time, I was running exponential marketing in it. Do you know I went to that cruise with worksheets for marketing training sessions just in my bag? And I was like, you just never know, innit?
What, just in case you found someone to train up?
Just in case someone was struggling with marketing, I just had stuff ready.
Literally.
Like, out of the 200 people going to this conference, I don't know if someone's struggling, so I'm ready to go. I don't know if between the main conference sessions, 10 of us might get together to talk about business challenges, and 8 people are talking about struggling with marketing. Like, here's a worksheet for them. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I was just ready to go, just in case. Just in case.
Literally.
I had stuff. And then there was a period following that for about 4 years. I just used to walk with worksheets. I only stopped walking with worksheets recently. You
He's
know?
not joking.
Then I just realised that these worksheets are just getting messed up in my bag. They're not getting used because I'm not drawing for them. But like, because in my head I was thinking, and these weren't worksheets specific to marketing anymore, they were specific to everything that I do. But I was like, I might buck up on a young person just out on road that I can see struggling with something. Come, let's talk about your mindset. Come, look, do you get what I'm saying? Like, you just got to stay ready, bro. But it has helped me in certain environments where I've gone somewhere and I'm just like, yeah, I'm happy to help out. And then they're like, well, we actually don't know what we're going to do for the next 20 minutes. And I'm just like, all right, I've got something. And it's actually been helpful to just have stuff with you, because you just never know. So my thing is stay ready, because stranger things have happened. You never know.
100% stay ready, because I think, especially for Lewis, when you're in a position where you're always having to facilitate, you always need to have games in the bag. You always need to have life lessons in the bag. You always need to have talking points in the bag, because, bruv, unfortunately, in certain situations, things are going to get dry and things are going to get boring. You need to know how to raise the energy or vibration in the room. And it's like, even today, no offense, but we came into the session, there were like 20 people in the room and there was no vibe going on. Do you know what I mean? And it's up to you to raise up that vibration by doing something that's engaging. And it's not even about having, obviously the subject knowledge is one thing, but it's not always about the subject knowledge. It's about how interesting are you as a person? How interesting are you to listen to? And that's like, even relating back to the scenario now, you might step up, do that panel, and it's like, cool, oh my god, I really like what that person's saying, and now boom, all of a sudden you're promoted. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden people are coming to you and approaching you for certain things because you've decided to put yourself out there. It's like what Hayley Melinda said at the last
Next level speakers.
yeah, brother, and it's something that, like, one of my friends came, because he didn't know that I was actually at that conference, but then when he came to me and he said what Hayley Melinda said, I was like, yeah, because that line resonated with most people. You're too broke to not be visible, bruv.
Oof.
Like, you need to be on the panel, because if you're not getting opportunities left, right and centre, why are you not on the panel?
Yeah, 100%.
Why are you not taking the opportunity to get yourself seen, to put yourself in a better position, to have prospects? Like, come on now, don't be dumb.
Oh man, it's so deep. Sorry, do you know what? I zoned out for 1 second because, and I might as well just share it on the podcast. I had a conversation yesterday with, Solomon from West London Youth Zone. So he asked me a couple months ago to do a keynote at their careers fair, that they're like a conference basically that they're running. It's a careers fair effectively, but during the day the young people who go to the event at West London Youth Zone, we'll get to meet with different employers throughout the day, whatever, normal kind of stuff that you do, CV writing, whatever. And he's asked me to do a keynote at the end of the day. And he said to me, oh, like, yeah, tell me a bit about what you think the session could cover. And then he goes, oh, and also, so I'd already agreed to do it, put it in my diary, everything. Then he goes to me yesterday, oh, and then what would the cost be? And I said, can I be real with you, bro? You lot bust us the other day in terms of letting us use the spaces for like a whole day, twice, to run a program for like hundreds of young people. I'm really grateful. You're asking me to come and do a half an hour talk. I'm from West, oh, not from, but I live in West London. I got you lot in it, it's cool. But it's funny because the conversation that he was having about what do you want to cover was, for me, was like, what within my toolbox do I choose from?
Yeah,
because
literally.
there's so many things I could do. But that was one thing. But then the reason why I started to zone out a little bit is because I just thought about it. Where he was like, nah, bro, but we've got budget. What I just realised, and I'm going to message him now just so it's in his mind for when he goes back to work on Monday, it's not don't use the budget for me, but actually let's create a bursary, maybe some of the young people who are going to this careers fair. Let's say I would normally charge anything around $350 to $450 for that session, yeah? Let's just call it £400 for a second. We create a £100 bursary for 4 people, or a £50 bursary for 8 people to take advantage of work experience opportunities, or to do something to help them to kickstart their career.
Yeah.
So now we can just reallocate the budget. Now some people might be sitting there going, why are you not taking the money, Lewis? You need to know your worth. I know my worth, bro. I charge. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I know my worth and I charge. But there are some situations where it's really important to acknowledge these people did us a great favour. They could have charged us a lot of money for using their space those 2 days. They didn't. They saw the benefit of being able to give young people from West London the opportunity to be in this great space, to have access to those opportunities. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm trying to create a mutual relationship here. I'm going to do you lot a favour. You did me a favour. But now we can actually reallocate that budget to help the young people you're working with anyway to have this bursary now. So we might be able to say, yeah, boom, like, I don't know, they might go to work experience and the employer covers their travel but not their lunch. Boom, you got £50 now for your lunch, £10 a day. Do you get what I'm saying? Boom, that some of them, like, I've got an interview but I can't afford a suit. Alright, boom, we got £100 for you. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is, let's reallocate the budget. Do you get what I'm saying?
Nah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, man.
That makes a lot of sense, and in those situations, like I'm saying, you're playing the long game. It's not like you're trying to play someone to your advantage, but it's like, you recognize that someone's done you a favor. You recognize you need to go to this person for favors sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And once you keep that relationship
that's what it's important,
sweet,
yeah.
it's like next time you have a mentoring day, you know who to go to. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And it's not selfish.
Not at all.
Do you know what I mean?
Not at all. And also, I'm honoured to be asked, and I think it will be a fantastic event, and I just want to see them succeed with it. So
last and final segment of this episode, which is the outcome.
Okay, so do you know the Jimmy Kimmel show, the Tonight Show?
Yeah.
So you got Jimmy Kimmel Live. Sorry, he's got the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Then you got Jimmy Kimmel Live, which is the other Tonight Show. So I think they're both on around, let's say, I don't know what time it is, 8 p.m, 9 p.m, something like that. Then you'll normally in America have the Late Show, which is where someone like Stephen Colbert comes in. So he will be like a little bit later, because then because obviously the later it goes in the night, you can start to introduce like swear words, whatever it may be. All of those shows have the same format, right? They're very guest heavy. They open with a monologue from the person who is the host, because the hosts are comedians. They open with a monologue, and their monologues are always something to do with what's going on in the political landscape usually, or a social talking point. But heavily, since Trump came into power in 2016, it'll be about Trump.
Yeah.
Then it continued with Biden, now it's back to Trump, as you can imagine. Charlie Kirk and his murder, which influenced to some extent the riots that took place in the UK last weekend. I say riots. The protests, which led to the physical abuse of some police officers. Let me not say riots, because it definitely wasn't riots, and I don't want to paint that picture. But obviously, off the back of that, Trump then was here for 3 days. I don't know if you know about that, but Trump flew over here for 3 days to come and meet with like Keir Starmer, the King, all of that. I say that to say, Jimmy Kimmel on Monday opened his show with his normal monologue talking about Trump, and basically said like, making comments to do with the fact that Trump seems to be a massive supporter of Charlie Kirk and all these kinds of things, and what that kind of causes in the country, and you know, because they're comedians, they might talk about how idiotic that can be, whatever. That led to the guy who is the chair of the FFC, which I can't remember, or FCC, sorry, the FCC, which I can't remember what FCC stands for now, basically saying through a tweet and through other statements on a podcast, he doesn't think it's okay for Jimmy Kimmel to be able to make comments like that, and basically said Disney, because Disney own ABC, and ABC are the network that his show is on. So that's kind of like saying Disney owned BBC, yeah, for example, because that's their version of the BBC. Disney owned ABC, basically saying Disney need to get rid of his show or suspend his show or else. So what happens? Jimmy Kimmel's show is not suspended. Bear in mind, that's technically a conflict of freedom of speech.
Nah, I hear it.
And he was brave to do that. But yeah, carry on.
What specifically did he say? Do you know what he
This
said?
is what we need to bring up, bruv. ABC takes Jimmy Kimmel off air over Charlie Kirk comments. ABC suspends talk show host Jimmy Kimmel indefinitely over remarks about right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk's killing. Kimmel said that the MAGA gang aimed to score political points from the shooting. Some prominent Hollywood figures condemned the move as censorship and a threat to free speech. Donald Trump welcomes Kimmel's indefinite suspension as great news for America. TV host Jimmy Kimmel has been pulled off air indefinitely after comments he made about the shooting of Charlie Kirk. The decision came hours after Brendan Carr, that's the one I was talking about, who's the chair of the broadcast regulator, the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC that I mentioned, threatened to act against ABC and its parent company Disney over the remarks. In his monologue on Monday, Kimmel said that MAGA gang was desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and of trying to score political points from it. Mr. Carr said Kimmel was appearing to directly mislead the American public. Kimmel has not yet commented. Kimmel, who is among the top chat show personalities in the US, has fronted his show Jimmy Kimmel Live since 2003 and hosted the Oscars 4 times. During Monday night's show, he spoke about flags being flown at half-mast in honor of Kirk and mocked US President Donald Trump's reaction to the shooting.
My question is that monologue, is it premeditated or?
Yeah, they write it in advance.
So that wasn't even his free speech, really and truly.
Well, he would write it alongside his writers.
Okay.
Alongside his writers, he'd get help from them. But yeah, effectively, as a comedian and a host of that show, you will plan in advance what you're going to say.
Okay, that makes sense. And do you know what it is? I hear, like, this is kind of what we discussed in the last week's pod in terms of what you say has a impact on the brand or whatever you're doing. In his case, being on the show, but at the same time, freedom of speech. Do you know what I mean? Because, like I said, he hasn't commented on why he said certain things that he said. But also, there's politicians who have said worse. They just decorate it up. They sugarcoat it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not gonna lie. Because obviously I didn't actually know the cause of why those protests were happening in England, but
they were meant to be anti-immigration. So those people who were protesting last week were basically Unite the Kingdom was instigated by Tommy Robinson's EDL, the English Defence League, and their view is that they've had enough of immigration. As far as they're concerned, there's too many people migrating to the UK.
But do you know why that's crazy? Because the impact that actually has on people's safety, people feeling safe, people, just being able to walk freely around a certain place. So, like, right now, I'm actually moving in the next couple of weeks, but right now I live in Southend. I wasn't staying there for a couple of weeks, just personal things, but I went back there maybe a week ago. As I'm driving back there, what do you see? From when you enter from the Basildon area all the way up to Southend, you're going down Southend Arterial Road, you're going down the back road. Everywhere you look, flags.
St. George's flags.
St. George's flags, Great Britain flags. I went on a walk yesterday. How can I go for a walk in the middle of I'm in the woodland, bushes, bro. I'm seeing on a bin, someone's done the England flag, do you know what I mean? And even just being in and around certain places and spaces, like, you being in and around that place, a white person looks at you and you're like, is this person racist or not? Do you know what I mean? Am I fearing for my safety by walking past this person? Oh. And then I was actually parking in a parking lot in Sainsbury's, and someone came past me, but it's like, I did a maneuver. To be honest, the maneuver was quite inconvenient for the person, because I could have let the person go, but I was just being a bit long and extra. And then as I've pulled back into my spot, the person, the man in the car, gave me a dirty look, and I thought I could hear him say, "Get out." Like, you know when someone's saying get out of the country?
Yeah.
But it's one of them ones where, you know when you can't be sure if that's what you heard, but the look is the look that the person gave me, which made me think that might have been what he said. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the ripple effect of what certain people say on shows like that, they don't actually realize how they might be enabling or influencing people's views to enforce their own ideologies. Do you know what I mean?
So this is what's interesting, because Jimmy Kimmel is coming at this from the side of Charlie Kirk's killing is being spun by those who are from the Make America Great America Great Again campaign. They're spinning Charlie Kirk's killing as like, this is terrible. This means that, you know, clearly there is an agenda against people who just care about the greatness of America. He's turning around and going, bruv, the brother that killed Charlie Kirk is probably part of you lot's movement. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
He's learning.
Stop trying to politicize this thing. Do you get what I'm saying? And he's also saying Donald Trump's remarks about Charlie Kirk's killing is not representative of a good leader of this country.
Exactly.
He's allowed to say that. These talk show hosts have been mocking presidents for decades. That's what they do. Doesn't matter who the president is. They mock them for things that they think are stupid, for things that they think are not good leadership, all of that. It's freedom of speech. You're allowed to have a comment on your president. We voted you in.
And Trump's trying to say make America great again, but listen, since he stepped into power, certain things have been turning left. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Both times. And so, but my thing that's more concerning here is that Brandon Carr, who I don't know if he's brethren of Trump or not, but as the chair of the FCC, that's a threat. Listen, I think you lot need to take off that show, or else it's basically saying, if you want ABC to continue existing, and for you to have any show broadcast on any TV anywhere across this country, deal with that. You're not supposed to have that kind of power. So, but then Disney make the decision, Disney, ABC, whichever level it got to, make the decision based on maybe fear, money, all these kinds of things. But look at the ripple effect that has. People then start to trust less in free speech. Jimmy Kimmel and all his staff now are not working. Do you know how many people that impacts?
Yeah.
He's got a whole staff, bro. It's not just him. That's about 50 people not working right now because of that. So it makes you worry for the level of freedom, that we're gonna have in society as a result. Do you get what I'm saying?
The level of freedom, bro, and then like you're moving like this is treason, high treason. You say one thing and it's high treason. You're getting executed for it. Like
it's crazy.
When Trump can say what he wants to say, and just because he likes it, it can run. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Daily Decisions. Please make sure, like we always say, if you enjoyed this ep, if you got value from it, please like, comment, and most importantly subscribe so you never miss gems from us again.
And share it with your people. But also, if you are an ambitious individual, you're looking to level up in life, you're looking to start a business, you're looking to amplify your professional and your personal career, look at the link down in the description. Please join the group down in the description and we'll help you to nurture that. 100%.
But other than that, we'll see you in the next episode, guys.
Much love.